Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, one of DC's most popular characters and one of Batman's most dangerous villains. I mean, he's not just a Batman villain, he was originally a Nightwing villain, but yeah, he's a Batman villain at this point, pretty much. He's one of the more interesting characters because of how badass he is, how badass he looks, his stories, what he's capable of, etc. In the Arkham games, Deathstroke plays a prominent role in a few of the games and has a good amount of lore to cover that is enough to warrant a whole video dedicated to him. There's in-game details to connect that expands his story, and let's just jump into it. Before we get started, if you guys can leave a like on the video, I'd really appreciate that. Subscribe as well. I'm trying to reach 100k this year. That's my huge goal that I think I can reach. And yeah, like I said, let's just jump into it. So, Deathstroke. So the first time we see Slade is in the Arkham Origins reveal trailer. Now, this trailer, I don't know if it's canon or not, because timeline-wise, it wouldn't make much sense because he's trying to kill him here for Black Mask, but in Arkham Origins, it's stated that it's only one night's time to kill Batman. So yeah, this fight here in this context makes me think it's not canon, but maybe it is, and I wanted to bring it up because it establishes Slade's physical skill set the best out of anything in the Arkham series, in my opinion. This is Slade in his true form, being toe-to-toe with Batman. But let's get on with the story, which starts in Batman Arkham Origins. So, in Batman Arkham Origins, Slade was one of the 8 assassins hired by Black Mask, quote-unquote, to kill Batman on that night. When reviewing who was hired, Batman does mention Slade was a part of a failed medical experiment.
Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, former military, subject of a failed medical experiment.
Failed, you say?
So Slade has a military background as he normally does. His bio in the game gives us more details though. He was a member of the Special Forces, which gave him access into a covert program that tested his mental and physical capabilities to the extreme, which left him with enhanced everything, basically, kind of like Captain America. Most of his time in the military as shown is redacted, but he was eventually discharged from the military for unknown circumstances, and since then he's been a mercenary and one of the most dangerous foes Batman has ever or will ever face. Okay, so a few things to note here. So when Batman is reading his file from the data drive, one of the known associates is William Randolph Wintergreen. Now in the DC comics, Wintergreen is usually depicted as an associate of Slade during his time in the military and usually acts as his mentor. So in the comics, there was a general in the military named General Samson who was kind of a bad guy, and he sent Wintergreen on a suicide mission for disobeying him pretty much. Slade then took a plane and went to go save Wintergreen, which he did, and because of that, Slade was discharged for disobeying orders by saving Wintergreen. Maybe that's why he got discharged here. It could be anything, really. This is just me spitballing, but that's just my guess I'm gonna take here. Also, maybe him being discharged has something to do with the Team 7 project. Now, Team 7 exists in the DC universe, not just Naruto. So Team 7 in the DC universe is a secret military black ops team that was created to help against metahuman threats. There was a bunch of interesting characters on the team. It's kind of like the Suicide Squad, kind of. But a couple of the most notable members were Dinah Drake's Black Canary and Slade Wilson's Deathstroke. Slade was a part of this Team 7 project in the comics, and the reason I bring this team up is because Team 7 is canon and mentioned in Batman Arkham Knight. Take a listen to this.
You ever hear about Team 7? Not heard that name in a while. That's some serious stuff. What happened to those guys? Dropped off the grid. No one knows for sure. There's a splinter group, all female. That's where I've seen that name. What name? Over there on the club. Black Canary.
Okay, so this confirms that at the very least, Black Canary was a part of Team 7. It wouldn't be out of the picture for Slade to have been a part of the team as well, since it would line up with his military background here, as stated in Batman Arkham Origins. A lot of his file is redacted, and Team 7 would definitely line up in that redacted category. Another thing is he lost his eye, as he normally does, but it's never specified how. He loses his eye in different ways depending on the comic. Sometimes it's Green Arrow that stabs his eye, like the CW show. Maybe the way he lost his eye was due to a Team 7 mission. I don't know, just food for thought. Anyways, as we see in Arkham Origins, Deathstroke went after Batman in the final offer ship and they fought, and Batman won. Something to note is that Slade's abilities likely made him arrogant and overconfident. Like, at first, he seemed sure he was killing Batman with the way he says the game is over before it begins, before they fight. But at the end, he asks Batman, "What are you?" Surprised, as likely at this point, Slade may have never failed a contract. It's entirely possible. So yes, Batman beats him and he gets sent to Blackgate, where even though he lost, he doesn't seem too upset about it at all. Take a listen to the conversation.
Apparently the Joker's afraid of me. Wouldn't let me out. And for good reason. I don't like having my time wasted.
You should have known trying to kill me was a waste of your time.
Well, you won't have to worry about that anymore. Not unless someone else puts up 50 million bucks.
I wasn't worried.
I bring this point about him not being too sad that he lost to Batman because I'm going to make a point about it later on in the video. But to wrap it up in Arkham Origins, the post-credit scene reveals Amanda Waller walking up to Slade's cell and offering him to join the Suicide Squad. Now, the interesting thing to note is that Slade's comment saying, "I figured you guys would show up to them," implies that he knows about Argus and they've likely contacted him before and tried to recruit him maybe. It's not revealed if he took the offer to join the squad, but he does look like he's considering it here, and I'm willing to bet that he did take the offer. Or not. Either way, he managed to escape from the prison and from Argus because he's a mercenary again around the time of Arkham Knight. The next time we hear Slade is in the Arkham Knight comics. Now, I always bring this up every time I talk about the comics. Comics aren't considered to be canon by most people. Some people pick and choose what's canon. It gets complicated. But I bring it up because the comics reveal how Jason Todd escaped from Arkham Asylum, which is through Deathstroke, and this bit of the comic kind of lines up with the game, so I have to bring it up. So, in the Arkhamverse, Joker has had Jason held captive in Arkham Asylum for nearly 2 years, torturing him. During the events of Batman Arkham Asylum, in which Joker tried to take over the island, he hires Deathstroke to go kill Jason while Joker is occupied with his plan and fighting Batman. Jason is shown escaping through a hallway until Slade catches up with him and prepares to kill him. Jason then talks Deathstroke out of it, telling him that the Joker would never pay him, and that he can get him more money if he helps him escape. Slade agrees to his plan, saying he never trusted Joker anyway. He's probably remembering the Arkham Origins incident, that's my headcanon. But anyways, they do escape. Jason gets Slade his money as promised, but then also persuades him to work with him and help create an army since Jason wanted to destroy Batman for what he thinks he did to him. So Slade ends up working with Jason, creating an army to fight against Batman, which is what we see in Batman Arkham Knight. They both create a partnership with Scarecrow too, to take down Batman once and for all. Anyways, once Batman takes down Jason in Arkham Knight, Slade reveals himself to Batman, revealing he was working with Jason the entire time and is now the new militia commander, and that he was paid in advance to kill Batman, making him obliged to fulfill his end of the bargain. During the missions in which you take down the militia under his command, he reveals some details about him that add to his lore, such as this line about Kurok.
I haven't seen a battle like that since the onslaught in Kurok. Takes me back.
The bomb's payload is exposed. I can use the power winch to trigger a controlled explosion.
In the comics, he's been to Kurok a few times, sometimes to kill a high-ranking colonel, or whatever the case may be. He also flexes some of his feats too, like how he took out 6 T-80s with an RPG, 2 shells, and a punctured lung. I bring this up because it highlights his arrogance from Arkham Origins, and how he still has that personality in this game all these years later. Anyways, Batman finds him and stops him. For some reason, Slade fights him in a tank, and then gets one shot when it fails and he comes out of the tank. It was a really dumb fight, but Batman beats him, and Slade this time gets pissed and tells Batman on the ride over to GCPD that he'll deliver Batman for free. However, Batman is one of the very few people that earn Slade's respect, and because of that, Deathstroke tells Batman that he won't rest until he's devoted all his energy to killing him. During his time in that prison cell, he talks with the other villains and mentions some details about himself, like how he had to deflate a punctured lung in the Hindu Kush Valley, how he finds napalm dropped that night to be one of the most beautiful things, and how he used to know a guy in Hanoi that would make wallets out of dead Viet Cong. That last thing could be a Wintergreen reference from earlier, as Slade had to go to Hanoi to save him, but who knows. Now, the last bit of information we get on Slade is in the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League prequel comics. Now, as far as this video is made, only the second issue of the comics are released. There's gonna be more info on him afterwards, and he's most likely going to be DLC in the actual game at some point. So when that happens, there'll obviously be more information, but only from these 2 issues is what I'm gonna be talking about, since that's all we got. It's revealed that Slade is in captivity and being held in the new Arkham Asylum, being ran by Amanda Waller. So what this tells me is that Slade either never broke out since Arkham Knight, which was 5 years prior, or he did break out and got caught again. I think he broke out and got caught again because once he gears up later on in this comic, he has a new suit that differs from his Arkham Knight suit, so yeah. But basically, in the 2 issues, the inmates at Arkham Asylum break out. Deathstroke works with the Great White Shark and Deadshot to get his gear back and find a way off the prison. Once they find a way off, Slade kills Great White Shark, shooting him in the head, and shoots Deadshot, leaving him for dead as well. And at this moment of time is the last time we hear about Slade Wilson. Now, this part where he shoots both of them feels kind of out of character for Slade, but maybe it is in character. It's just kind of hard to say, because Slade doesn't like to kill people for free, unless it's like Batman, I guess, from Arkham Knight. It's just kind of weird. I don't think he would act like this, just killing them in cold blood, because what's really the point? But that's what happens. But the following issues in the game will most likely reveal more about him. Maybe I should have waited on this video, but at the same time, you should be able to figure that out yourself when more is revealed, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a game honestly most people don't consider canon, so that's the thing as well. But yes, that's the entire story of Slade in the Arkham games. He's a hired mercenary, as he usually is, but in the games, he's portrayed as being too overconfident and arrogant, and him underestimating Batman is what leads to his ultimate defeat. But he is a badass and is the Deathstroke we all know of. I wish there was more of him, but they used him honestly pretty sparingly. He wasn't in Arkham Origins too much, and his role in Arkham Knight wasn't really that big either. But other than the tank fight, I'd say they got his character down pretty well, and hopefully we can see more of him being a badass in the future Arkham games. But yeah, that's the entire story of Slade Wilson in the Arkham games. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know if you want to see more villain profiles like this. Please follow me on Twitter, trying to get more followers on there. Subscribe to me if you enjoy the content. Trying to get 100K, like I said, before the end of the year. That's my huge goal. And any support in the video is really appreciated. Thanks again to all of you. Stay safe. And this video is brought to you by Brilliant. Brilliant is an excellent online program that allows you to practice your math, computer science, or data science skills at any level and in any way you want. Each one of these areas have extensive options for you, allowing you to customize how you want to progress. If you're already at an advanced level for these skills, you can start off at an advanced level. It allows you to stay on top of these skills and gives you a plethora of problems for you to solve to make sure you aren't rusty with your skills. And what's even better, Brilliant is now featuring new data content, programming, and real language models to expand their library of topics for you to learn. You can get familiar with coding elements or understanding the importance of training data. It's all there for you. Brilliant is an engaging way of learning these things without the stress of meeting some deadline or completing some test. It's all accustomed to you. It's great. And what's even better, you can use my code brilliant.org/GothamPaladin to start for free for 30 days, or click the link in my description. Make sure to check it out. And thanks again to Brilliant for sponsoring this video.